is now 6:30 p.m. on Thursday, July 18th, and I am calling the Newfane Selectboard meeting to order. I do want to remind people that we do have a hearing on, I believe it's Monday, July 22nd, or on the town plan, which will be followed immediately by a special meeting of the select board to vote on that plan. That will be, I believe, is it 6 o'clock? Is that correct?
I believe so.
6 p.m.
But you did warn the special select board meeting for
6:30, right. So the
doesn't take as long, we still have to wait.
6:30, that's right. Okay, the first order of business is the approval of the minutes. We have two sets of minutes, one from the June 20th meeting and one from the July 1st meeting. So do I have a motion to approve the minutes of June 20th? It's been moved and seconded. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes of June 3rd, 20th?
We got the information, and the motion that Todd made was correctly stated. I do have a question though on that, and it may be something that comes up at a different point. But on the March 21st select board minutes, it says that we would like Merle to perform accounting support and track.
Hold on. Is this a correction to the minutes?
We had checked because
I understand, but are the minutes correct?
Yes.
Okay, so then if you want to bring it up as another point, then that'd be fine, but right now I don't want to, yeah. Are there any other additions, corrections, subtractions, multiplications?
I don't know if this is significant at all, but Todd left for an emergency with a fire.
Yeah, I don't think we normally, unless there was a vote during the time he was not here, I think we don't need to expressly state it.
No, it is stated, however, but he did come back.
It stated that he had to leave and then not stated that he returned. Well, we could add that he's returned.
Because he was here for executive session.
Okay, it probably should be noted. If it was noted that he left, then I think probably should be noted that he returned. You did come back. We're not sure. Okay, so you just make that correction. Just add to it whenever it was that you did that. All right, any other additions or corrections? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes as corrected? Aye. The motion carries unanimously. The next is the minutes of July 1st, 2013. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Moved and second. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes of July 1st, the special meeting? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes as written, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Okay. The next order of business is the road foreman, road commissioners report. Todd, would you like to?
Yep. We're grading the roads and we're still hauling gravel on them. Most of the roads held up very, very well actually with all the rain we've had. We haven't had any serious flooding at all. We did have a few complaints. One on Pikes Road off Old County Road. And when I went up there, the entrance to the road was washed, so we fixed that. And had a complaint on South Wood Road as far as the knotweed goes. Guys went up, trimmed some of that. They've been trimming brush around the intersections and signs. Our usual 09 Sterling has more issues. The alternator failed, so we took it up there. It was under warranty. Got it back the next day and it overheated, and the EGR cooler failed. So I called Patriot because last time they charged us quite a bit of money for that. And got it covered under warranty, except that they still don't know what's wrong with the truck. It's still sitting there. It's just an ongoing thing with that truck. brush by the covered bridge, we did trim it back, and when we got done with it, the landowner came out and was very upset about it. He thought we trimmed it back too far, and I explained to him that he's rubbing on vehicles and forcing vehicles to get into the other lane. I also explained to him that if he looked back, he still couldn't see the covered bridge height sign, it was still blocked by the brush. So he said that he will keep the brush trimmed back on his own from now on, so I said that was fine. I'll be on vacation from the 25th of this month till August 4th. And like I usually do, I'll leave a list of things for the crew to do. Steve will take care of making sure the daily work gets done. Christopher checks in every morning anyway, so he'll check in with Steve. And if he gets complaints, then he can tell Steve. If there's any outside repairs need to be done, Steve's going to let Christopher know ahead of time. New water coolers in the garage, and it's coming pretty handy. The guys are really happy that that's there, and they wanted to thank Pat for getting this set up for us and the select board as well. An access permit on French Cabin Road. I got a phone call from Al Vitale, who's here. They wanted to replace some underground wires that went across the road to a friend's mobile home. I explained to him that he needed to fill out a permit, which he'd already done. They marked it so that Christopher and I could take a look at it. He did ask me if I thought there would be any problems with it, and I told him it would have to be buried at least 3 feet deep, or it went across the road anyways, and it would have to have it, you'd have to be putting conduit or some type of pipe, so if for some reason the frost or pushed it up out of the ground, or we were doing some ditching along the road, we wouldn't get into it. But I did let him know that could not approve that permit. It was up to the board to approve it. I went up there, I guess it was Monday, to check on the beaver culverts, and it was already done. And my only concern is I don't know how low the wires were buried, or if there was pipe used, and if it had caution tape on like it was supposed to or not. He did tell me that his friends had already planned on coming up last weekend with a backhoe and excavator, doing the weekend, but I had to tell him that I still couldn't prove it. I had to wait for the board. We'll see access permit down below, and that's what that's there for. And he's here if you want to read it now.
Okay. Well, first, let's just have a motion to accept the minutes of the report. Okay. And discussion, a couple of things, and we probably can take care of that now. Just to remark that a letter was sent by the administrative assistant explaining the reason for the cutting and the necessity to cut it, which was well worded and got the message across in a nice, straightforward way. And the only other thing is just, does that span include a meeting or not? If we were like, will we miss you for a meeting, or will you?
When I'm on?
Yeah. We might not miss you anyway.
I hope not.
We might,
I could call you every day, let you know if you're.
Yeah, just no, that's all right. That's not necessary.
Luckily, I don't get any cell phones.
Is it August 1st?
Yeah, August.
Yeah.
Oh, so you will miss me.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, that's too bad.
I'm probably missed that one too.
All right, so just Mike and Chris. So just if for some reason you can't make the meeting, definitely let me know.
Please make the meeting so I don't have to back.
But yeah, the last thing we'd rather have the meeting if at all possible. But if something comes up and you can't, we need to cancel the meeting.
John, people cannot hear us in the audience. So
You can't hear?
No, we're not.
All right. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay.
It's rare that anyone has ever told me they couldn't hear me. But I will definitely can speak louder. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's the whirring of the thing, but it's just
that's better.
but it may be warmer quickly. Okay. Let's take up the unless there's an objection. Let's take up since the landowner is here. Let's take up the right-of-way permit to which Todd referred in his report. But actually, we probably should approve the report first. Is there any further discussion on the report itself? Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting it as written? Aye. He's been, okay, motion passes. The next is, we are going to take up the right-of-way since the gentleman is here. Al,
He's not the owner,
he's caretaker, but he's the one who's making the application, right? Al, you want to just quickly explain what it is you're doing?
Well, we're replacing underground electrical line. We're going to have to cross the road. Well, it was already across the road in conduit.
Okay.
We went up the ditch with it and up to the camp.
Okay. And Todd,
You did dig across the road.
Huh?
You did dig across the road at the
No.
pole, right?
No,
How'd you check?
dug up to the pole. I mean, from the pole out to the road to find out where the wire went. It looked like it kept on going, so we just dumped over the other side of the road and dug it up on that side. And it was in conduit there, so we went up the ditch and up to the camp. That was the only day the guys could come up with the backhoe, and the other guys come and help, so they said they were going to do it, take pictures. But,
Yeah, next time you should try to plan it like a month ahead of time or whatever, so that
well,
you do the process goes through. I mean, I don't have a problem with what you did. It's just that
we're approving it after the fact. Is
Right.
that the case? Okay. Yeah, I would just, I mean, if there were a problem, you could end up being liable to have to dig it up and redo it or whatever. So, well, all right. You know what I mean. They wouldn't be too happy with you in their case.
well, this all happened kind of fast, so it just,
All right.
this is really got
Understood. It
time.
happens.
That came down with the application, so they found out that's what they were going to do. So.
Gotcha. All right, so unless there's an objection, could we have a motion to accept the permit?
I'll make a motion to accept the permit.
second.
We moved and seconded, discussion?
I guess I'm just confused. If that conduit was already under the road, what's this permit?
Because he didn't know it was under the road. Originally they were planning on digging
No,
across
and I understand that, but why are we now approving something that doesn't need to be approved?
because he applied for the permit.
Just simply.
Now it's on record that he did it.
Okay.
I would think. I mean, that,
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's still the right of way, not under the road physically. Yeah, because the right of way extends 25 feet from the center line.
It was like 3 feet down, right?
Yep.
And it's marked
All in conduit.
8.
Yep, they went down.
Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes, I believe, unanimous. Okay, thank you. The next order of business, the salt bids you don't need to discuss at this point.
What's that?
The communication about the salt bids, is that you need to bring that up or not? The salt?
Oh, no.
No.
I can just, I mean, I can if you want me to, but.
No, just when you're ready.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. All right, next there's scheduled members of the public. The first is Williamsville Hall, but I don't actually see any of the Williamsville Hall committee, so I'll need to postpone.
This is what they want to do right now.
Let's see what they've said.
That just came in this afternoon. See the time.
Yeah, I'm gonna move it down, and in case they'll move it down to correspondence, and if they come in between, we'll discuss it. The next is the town office improvements. I did see Gunther. Do you want to give us an update on where they stand?
We have for you.
Can people hear now?
I'm giving out the bid proposal. We're passing off the bid proposal to the select board to follow through and put out the bid on it.
So could you give us a little background on what we're doing?
Okay, we're doing three things. We're correcting the insulation in the attic and properly venting that space. That should take care of a lot of ills like smells and peeling paint and things like that. The second thing is we're fixing the floor so you guys at a point will not fall into the basement. which includes a third.
It's a minor.
Yeah, it's a minor thing. So-
It's not too far down.
And as a third separate item, we're putting the vault safe
The
removal as a bid, as a separate bid.
Okay, that's a separate.
A separate bid, or the contractor who does the floor can also bid to remove this.
But you're separate, they can
Yeah,
separate
it's a
it out. in the
right.
actual
We have
proposal.
3 separate items: upstairs, downstairs, and the vault.
Now, when you're saying you're fixing the floor, you're talking about
The beams and joists and
putting in
raising the floor,
vapor barrier and.
a vapor barrier, filling in the
It
cistern.
also mentions the sills and the vented windows.
Yeah, and we're putting in 3 vented windows that are openable, so you can access it, don't have to go through here anymore, so you can access it from the outside. And in the winter, we are insulating it. In other words, it's an all year round. It's louvered to shut off water. We have a screen to keep the vermin out and children. And then we have the insulation, which is removable. In the spring, you take it out, and in the winter, you put it in. It's hinged, and it's going to be locked.
Okay, now, let me ask you a couple questions about this. Is this, obviously, this was Savoy Engineering has prepared
He
this.
prepared that.
Is this something that we then said, yeah, go ahead and get somebody to prepare this for you? In other words,
No,
or did they do this as a freebie to the town?
No, Savoy, he's, I think he's getting $9.99, or he's agreed to work up to $9.99.
Dennis?
John, this was part of the $2,000.
Okay, that's what I meant. That's what I thought it
Right,
was. Okay.
yeah.
So it's,
He's prepared that, and I would imagine any bidder comes in, that'll be the package you give.
Okay. Now I understand. Now, is this the? Do you, anyone on the committee, have a rough sense of what your expectation is of the cost that will come? Do you have any basis for what you? So you don't know.
No.
You won't know
Right
till
now,
they come in.
I would say right now we don't. What's the basement upgrades are going to bring the building up to commercial standards, which are 100 pounds per square foot, rather than the 45 pounds per square foot it is currently, which is going to include. It's currently the way the building is structured right now. It's only capable of holding about 45 pounds per square foot. Commercial buildings are supposed to be.
That was 4,000 pounds.
Believe it or not, I thought it was 2,000. It's 4,000
No,
pounds.
Sandy Dowley says it's $4,000.
And so part of this is going to be replacing the broken beams that broke. Also adding beams next to that, replacing the rotten sill in the front of the building that the roof leak created. Adding a beam somewhere right about run full into the building under about where I'm sitting. And then doubling the joists on both sides of this, repairing the beam that's in the center of the building and repairing the beam that's probably running somewhere under where Todd is sitting right now.
Now, part of why I was asking what you thought the total cost might come to. In other words, we know we have, we voted at the town meeting for $25,000 to add to the capital fund for the town office. We have some additional money. I'm just trying to understand, let me put it this way, is this what you consider your recommendation out of the committee as those things that are most essential that they be done?
Yes. And I think the money that you appropriated this year should at least get us through. And again, that is a guess. We don't know yet, but I expect from what little I know about construction, I expect that it will probably get us through this phase, the basement phase, the window phase, and the roof. And it'll also, one of the benefits to what they're doing in the roof, when they insulated the roof several years ago, they insulated it incorrectly.
Right, we understood that. Yeah.
They're going to correct that, put in the fans, and create the airflow from the basement right up through the
So that's part of what's
Yes.
included in this.
The benefit to that is the next time we paint the building, the paint won't be popping off the outside of the walls because of the condensation that can escape.
Well, other questions from members of the board? What,
It's not what they do next.
yeah, well, then what would be appropriate would be a motion to actually have Pat send out this bid to the request for proposals to those contractors. Do you have a list of contractors who would be a potential for this?
Nobody for the roof work yet, or the attic work yet. Chris Parker is the only one that so far has shown us interest in the basement. The windows will be part of that, so he's going to have to subcontract the windows to wherever he chooses to.
Yeah. What we would like, if the committee, is the committee still meeting?
Oh yeah, we're meeting weekly.
Because it would be a great help if some research could be done on who might be willing to submit a request for proposal.
Our hope is that when it formally goes out, if they see it in the newspaper, we're kind of hoping that triggers some interest. But the word of mouth is out that, this is what we'd like to do.
We also have to, follow our procedures to make sure we contact a minority that are contacted and so on, although we're not expecting to be reversed in this respect to pay for it out of town funds. So that actually gets a little, but we still want to do it correctly. Does the board, and now I'm asking the board, do we feel ready to go forward with this in the sense of ready to go ahead and ask Pat to put it out, to finalize this and put it out for bids?
I'll make a motion that we do ask Pat to put this out for a bid.
Second motion.
That's been moved and seconded. Is there a discussion with that? Yes. You're going to speak against it. That would be perfect. I don't want you guys to do what I just
wanted to point. Don, did you make corrections in a couple of typos that were?
Yeah, I made correction of typos, and on page 3, the last sentence has to be reinstated.
The owner will provide and pay for builder's risk insurance. That actually, I got clarification on that today. I actually Googled it, and then I called Chris to get clarification. That is something that the town would provide. That insurance is insurance that would be like a rider to the regular town policy to cover the building and our regular insurance while construction was going on. Because
So this is a town expense.
this would be a town
So
expense.
we're not asking, so it's correct.
It is. It actually, we thought it was incorrect. We determined it is correct.
The owner, that's us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I see, okay, so that's a step, and what about the next line? That goes
That
out, the handwritten line below, the contract will provide all insurance. But the
Yes, that
contractor
goes-
still has to be
Yeah.
insured.
He has, yeah, that's in here.
That's
He's got to have his
somewhere.
liability.
That's a different, no, that's on the page.
It's handwritten on
So
the same
the
page.
handwritten
So
should go
basically,
on.
we're putting back in the line,
Right.
the owner will provide, and we're keeping the handwritten line that's below it as well. Is that correct?
Sure.
It actually may, since we, the owner of the municipality owns the building, where it's on us to do that, it's not even necessary, I don't think, to have the entire line in
So it still could be.
as an equation. It's more important that when we contract someone, that the page 4 of this says that they have their insurance
Right.
and that they're set up.
So you're saying it doesn't need to be?
We can call the LCT just for a clarification. What they may say to us is, look, you don't need a special builder's risk for this particular project of a renovation. We'll waive that or not.
So would the maker of the motion add a friendly amendment that we have the administrative assistant check with release at the LCT of whether that line should be in there or not, and respond according to their advice?
So yeah.
Oh, I
So moved as
thought you already
amended.
moved. Didn't you move? Didn't you make the motion?
You asked me to make a friendly amendment.
It doesn't.
So I will clarify my motion that we would like to put this out to bid with Pat making a call to VLCT for clarification on whether the last line of the third page stays in or out of the bid proposal.
Okay, excellent. And the only, I'm sorry, yes, I guess it changed.
The date also has to be changed.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at next. Obviously, we're going to give them more than, well, they would have been given a week ago. I wouldn't be quite, we wouldn't get too many bids.
No.
So what date do we think would be appropriate? It looks like this could happen fairly quickly. Is it, if we said August, when is our August meeting?
1 and 15.
Maybe we make it the second meeting and make it August 15th. Does that seem reasonable? And again, you want to change your motion to include the date with the date when it's coming in.
It just seems to me that that's just
Yeah,
can just be done without.
yeah.
I don't.
Well, it's just part of the.
That's me.
We're setting August 15th as the
Okay.
for Pat to know what to shoot for, and we should advertise in the newspaper as well as Pat. We should place an ad as well as the whatever else we do, calling whatever contractors we can, because we would like some choices. All right.
As far as the safe goes, I talked to Sandy Dowley. She said it got moved from what is now the library here when the office was moved, and it came through this door before it became reconfigured. In other words, the outside door and this door was big enough to get this
So they're
in.
going to have to open up the space. Is that described here?
It's whoever comes up with a bid, he's going to have to figure out.
I'm just saying, though, since they're making a bid, I guess they'll come and see and we'll talk to them.
They'll have to figure out how to get it out.
Okay, fair enough. All right, there is a motion on the table. Is there any further discussion on it? All right, hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. The motion passes unanimously. And I want to certainly thank again the town office committee for the excellent work and for, in a sense, doing some of our work for us. It's extremely appreciated, both the research on what needs to be done and putting together a packet that we can now send out. This really facilitates progress in terms of some very critical work that we've wanted done for a long time. So thank you very much to the Town Office Improvement Committee for the work that you've been doing. And I very much hope you continue your meetings and continue to consider, once we know where we stand, once the bid comes in, we'll see whether there's still some more money that we have. And to look, and I would also just ask you, and this as chair, not as the board as a whole, but as chair, I'd ask you to kind of think what would come next, what the next priority would be. Okay? Thank you very much. Moving forward, the next topic on the agenda is the PACE Energy Program. I understand Lynn Clayton, hi Lynn. Do you want to explain to us what this is all about?
I'll try my best, and I also have Don here who's going to do some of the more research about the program.
Don, where are you, Don?
Right here.
Welcome. You're our energy coordinator?
Correct.
Great. So we have both the key people here. Thank you.
So my husband and I live on 29 Newfane Hill Road and here in Newfane, and we're very interested in doing some renewable energy projects on our house. And specifically, we'd like to do some solar electricity photovoltaic system on our home. And when looking into it, we were introduced with the PACE program. The PACE program stands for Property Assessment Clean Energy. It's sponsored by Efficiency Vermont, and they partner with towns to run this program. It's a tool to help homeowners get help from their municipality. Basically, it's a method of financing that supports homeowners who invest in either efficiency or renewable energy improvements with upfront capital. The assessment is tied to the property, and at this point, my understanding, according to the internet, there's 35 towns in Vermont who have joined this program, 4 right here in Windham County already. Do you want to talk about it, Don, at this point? Or?
Yeah, the program started, I think the first time people applied, or towns applied for it was June of last year, June of 2012. And I'll probably repeat some of what Lynn just said. The acronym is Property Assessed Clean Energy. I think as far as the town goes, the assessed is the key word there. And as Lynn also stated, it's a financing mechanism through which homeowners can make energy improvements to their homes. Because PACE is an assessment, a public vote must be held to become a PACE district. PACE operates as a special assessment for homeowners who finance eligible energy efficiency or renewable energy improvements. This special assessment constitutes a lien on the property against which the assignment is made in the same manner and to the same extent as taxes assessed on the grand list of a municipality. And all procedures and remedies for the collection of taxes shall apply to special assessments. So the town becomes involved if there is a delinquency in payments of that assessment. PACE works by allowing property owners to voluntarily opt into a special assessment district created by their municipality. There is no penalty for a homeowner that does not participate. So it's for those that have an interest in taking advantage of the PACE financing are the ones that are affected. Funds may be used for eligible energy improvements, and the repayment period can be up to 20 years. And that was one of the key things when I was doing the research. They said you really need to have these payments extend out over a period of time, because if your payback is in too short a time, you tend to have a negative cash flow. This allows people to pay less, potentially pay less than what they're saving on an annual basis through energy savings. Individual towns set up their own PACE program, although Efficiency Vermont is available to administer the program. That administration includes sending out bills and receiving payments, maintaining books and records, receiving work scope and cash flow analysis of energy efficiency or renewable energy improvements. In the event a property owner falls behind, and this is just a repetition of what I said before, on this PACE assessment, at some point the town will have to become involved because they have the legal obligation to collect the PACE assessment.
Let me see. So let me see if I just understand the basics of this.
Sure.
Where does the money, who gives the money, where does the money come from?
The money comes from the state.
The state of New York? Well,
that's good. Let's get New York.
The state of Vermont?
The state of Vermont provides the
Not energy, not...
It's not by the utility and
yeah, or efficiency.
This is a statewide.
Okay, so it's the Efficiency Vermont is a wing of the state?
Efficiency Vermont is a wing of the state, and they administer the program for the state.
So they administer the program, so it's a state program. They provide the money, the town, but the town has to do a certain amount of bookkeeping, it sounds like?
Well, no, not really. The town's involvement is...
You said send bills, receive payments.
That's Efficiency Vermont does all that.
Oh, so
they keep the records, they send bills, they take the payments. The only time the town would get involved is if the person falls behind, then the town has to get involved in the collections process just as if they had a delinquent tax bill.
I understand. So basically, we're not involved, we don't do anything other than agree up until and unless the homeowner stops paying, at which point we assess through our taxes.
Right, you follow the same procedures you would.
I see.
In case of a property tax.
Well, I'll speak for myself here, and then we'll hear from other people. Well, actually, I'll let other people speak first. What do people understand? Do people want more information?
If you have questions, I mean, this is from a webinar. I was at an regional energy meeting a couple of months ago, and I called to check on the PACE program because that wasn't brought up. They said that was brought up at the meeting before, which was before I was energy coordinator. So
I would like to point out that we need voter approval by the town
Yes.
voters. So
Yep.
at issue here really is we should gather more information, and there's one of two things I think possible that could happen. Either a special meeting be drafted for strictly this, or we wait until town meeting, at which point that gets articles up for discussion.
So because it's a special district and
The
because
voters-
there's an assessment there, as far as you understand it, the town must
Yes,
vote
the
on it?
voters must approve the
I
municipality.
didn't hear you say that. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so this sounds like that it's not something that can move extremely quickly. I would really like to have, and I think the other members of the board, some written materials, links to URLs so that we are apprised of this and understand it fully. And then it really, as Chris has pointed out, a matter of, do you want it to be, if there is I would want to see somebody who's kind of saying, I really want to do this, yes.
Well, Denise has a website for town administrators. It's designed for you to get the information you're seeking. I've given that URL to Pat and to Don.
I have reviewed.
But I haven't,
I made a hard copy of the administrator package I'd be happy to leave. And there's also a wonderful 90-minute webinar that goes really step by step through the whole process, and it's, was given for town administrators.
I didn't realize this was that. I didn't realize you saw this come through. Okay.
I mean, they even give a sample ballot statement of what, people could report or could vote on.
If you have your best case scenario, how quickly would you want to proceed with your energy efficiency for your home?
As far as I know, the program is only funded through mid-2014. So if we wait until the town meeting in March, that's a very small window to get your work done.
And it's not just our home, obviously that's what we're here for, but it'd be a wonderful asset to the whole town to be able to have this kind of funding for energy efficiency.
Well, so I understand. Then we need to review this. I think we need to, I need personally to get up to speed on what this is. And then we would need, as a select board, to vote to hold a special meeting for this purpose. Now, I don't want to overstate that, holding a special meeting for something that is we could hold it here. It doesn't have to be a huge deal. But it has warning requirements, and so I don't know if there are, since there's an assessment, whether I would want that checked with VLCT, whether there's a time period we have to, before, in terms of the warning. But if essentially what you're doing then is requesting that the select board consider holding a special meeting, then let me open it for discussion amongst all.
That too. When I was looking at the information, it sounds like we're going to have 3 opt-in periods per year. So it may be good just to find out when those opt-in period times are, and if we can see if there is a time frame that'll fit with all your requirements letting people know.
First, I definitely want to follow the link. I see Pat did send it to the full board, and I didn't have time to look at it, so I should look at it, and everybody should look at it, and I think we should discuss it again next meeting. So let's just put it on our next agenda, and maybe if it all looks good and people are in favor, we'll schedule a special meeting. And Pat, I would like to ask you to check with VLCT to find out whether there are any special requirements, as in whether there are any certain things require more time between, in terms of scheduling a special meeting. 30-day warning, is there anything like that? There may not be, but just we should be apprised.
Could we also ask Pat to make sure she coordinates with Don as he gathers more information on that so that it can come forward to the board?
Great. Okay. Thank you very much for bringing it to our attention. I mean, if there are homeowners who, let me just ask, do you know any homeowners who are kind of would like to take advantage of this? Are
We
you
just
aware?
found out about it ourselves like 2 weeks ago, and right away called Pat about it. And it would be great to do something so that homeowners, be it a letter to the editor or some kind of article or something, so that homeowners know about it. I'm sure there's people in this community that are looking for ways of making their house more energy efficient or being able to go to renewable energy resources.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is important that people know about
Yeah.
it. I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Charlie.
Charlie, go ahead.
The potential here is for anybody in town to get photovoltaic system, not pay any money out of pocket, pay for it through their tax assessments, and buy the savings in their energy, and get this system become part of the housing stock of the town, without having expense, $20,000 expense that you have to personally immediately upfront pay for.
But I'm a little confused. Is it paid for that it's added to their taxes? I thought the tax only came in if they didn't pay.
No, it's added to it's part of their assessment. Every year, as part of their assessment, the town only becomes involved if there's a delinquency.
But we're involved in the limited sense that it's part of their tax bill.
Right.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, I just want to understand.
It becomes an asset of the town, though, because the property is in the town. Well, I know that's
No, let's not get it.
All right.
It
benefits
down that road.
It benefits the town.
I know a particular house I'd like to sell a town, but never mind.
And it's not real. We're talking about photovoltaics because we already have an energy efficient home and a solar hot water heating water system, but it does cover those kinds of improvements too for people who want to go solar hot water, and it also does a lot with efficiency, insulation.
It's anything that Efficiency Vermont covers or gives you rebates for. You can use the loan for that purpose.
Since I have you, let me just pursue this a little from the treasurer's perspective. Then is it transparent? Is it just simply added to the tax bill? Is it separate? How will it? Is there bookkeeping required on the treasurer's part?
Apparently, the bookkeeping is all done by Efficiency Vermont. Efficiency Vermont sends reports, I think, to the tax department. I'm not aware that they would be involved, other than
the town can opt to administrate, but they can also opt to have Efficiency Vermont administrate.
Just Dennis, you might have had stories that had her hand up for this, so let me let her.
Well, I'm just wondering, could we contact one of the 4 communities that are in the
40 of us. How many did you say?
I
could do that for us.
and five in Vermont, locally, the 4 Windham County towns are Marlborough, Westminster, Halifax, and Putney.
Don, would you be willing to contact one of those towns and just tell us what they're maybe asking somebody to come to our meeting?
might be a good idea too to find out whether they administer it themselves or whether Efficiency Vermont.
Yeah, it's a little confusing to me at this point.
My understanding from what I heard on the webinar is that you have your choice. That the
yeah.
town can decide to administer it or opt for Efficiency Vermont, but they want each municipality to have that freedom of a choice of how
Don,
they
if you could look into it, I would appreciate with other towns. Dennis?
Just had a question. Was Efficiency Vermont who the town got the grant from for our?
Yes.
And the reason I'm questioning it is some of the people that they subcontract out to, as you know, the mess they made of the insulation. That some of the work that we're doing right now as a town committee, some of the problems, not some, many of the problems, were created by the work done by the subcontractor that Efficiency Vermont used.
With this,
Well, let me
sorry.
call on people, Don.
With this system, you hire your own contractor. They have to be approved by Efficiency Vermont, but they don't assign a contractor to do the work. If that's a difference in what you're
Gloria?
Dennis, are you sure? Because I remember that only this contractor responded with a bid. And so it seemed to me we went out to bid on that.
All right, but I'm not, I think we're getting a little off topic.
I think Gloria's correct. I think the issue
So I know it
was
was
that
a subcontract.
they weren't properly, I guess, sanctioning the people that they were recommending. I think it was on one of the recommended lists,
Okay.
and we used them,
All right.
and then
I mean,
the
it's
mess.
just a word to
It's just a concern. I'm just.
To not just assume that if it's Energy Vermont, that they must be.
It must be great, because it may not.
You have run into some subsequent problems. Any other further comments on this topic? All right, then we'd like to revisit it. Pat, if you put it on the agenda for next meeting, it does seem like something that we should be looking into, and let's pursue it. Let's find out what it's all about. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the next the next is any unscheduled members of the public who wish to speak. Okay, not seeing any. Going on to new business. The first new business, the access permit, we handled that. The next is the errors and emission certificate. Doris, do you want to explain to us what's involved with that?
The select board needs to sign the 3 pages for the errors and omissions. You have copies of each one, and you have an explanation attached from the title 324261. When there is an error in the grand list or an omission from the grand list, then the select board signs these certificates.
So could you explain the ones we have before us?
There's an explanation written on each
I
one.
see the what's written there.
Green Mountain Power, their land was put in, the value of their land of $57,000 was put in 2 places.
Okay.
So the land really has a separate card, and it was also included in the main card,
Okay.
and it shouldn't have been.
Okay. And the other one?
There's actually 3.
Oh, okay.
I was being efficient with the paper.
Okay, you've got 3.
The Cannoli Village one, the woman's no longer there.
Which one? Oh, okay.
Andrea,
Oh, this is one of the, okay.
because she was asked to leave, and I didn't think we ought to keep taxing her.
Okay.
And
Tax her anyway.
yeah.
Okay.
And the other one, it's Neil Montgomery and Graham Mead. There's been some property swap and so forth, but D58 is already, that parcel that's worth 42.2 is already included in D58. And it should have been enacted, and poor Mr. Mead got a bill for it besides. And
Certainly sounds straightforward. Could I have a motion to sign these? Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, we will sign these along with our pay orders. Thank you, Joyce. Okay, the next is the bid openings for my favorite bridge, Lynch Bridge.
It's gonna get long, Don.
What?
Your nose is going to be blocked.
Yeah. So is the bridge. This is one of these bridges that, like, yeah, go ahead and build it. You can't build it on the, it can't, it's small, the bridge is wider than the original bridge. My favorites. Okay, the first bid is from Renault, and I'm just looking for the actual bid as opposed to the, here's the bond, certificate, yeah. The total for their bid is $536. 536 bucks. Let's go for it. We got it. $536,886. Cheap at half the price. Okay, that's Renault's bid. The second bid is from T. Buck Construction. And I'm going to thank Pat for giving me these little slicers. It's a lot easier. It doesn't quite get as much aggression in it. And this one they've been kind enough to put a little sticky, but unfortunately their price is $777,718. And again, I want to remind people that we are not required to accept simply the lowest. Past experience, etc., are also factors, and we can include other factors in our decision. This bid is from Cold River, and their bid has many pages. $604,574. The next bid is from Neil H. Daniels. Okay. And their bid is $610,828. I'm telling you, if we just made this thing out of Legos, it would have been so much easier. And this one, it's not so, it is from NAS, no, that's the who wrote the security. It's from SVE. No, they wrote the project description. And not clear yet who this bid is from. The bid is, the amount is $578,587. And I'm trying to see who this bid.
Should be at the last page where we sign
No, this is the bond. Contractor. The contractor appears to be Clayton D. Davenport Trucking Incorporated. And the final bid is Alpine Construction. This is my favorite part of this job. Dripping off. And from Alpine, we have the various bid forms, which are nicely broken down so they can be considered. This one is for $998,000.
Whoa.
Why don't we just add a couple grand? $998 even.
Even.
Wow.
Add a couple grand, make it a cool mill.
I'd like to make a motion that the bids be reviewed by Peter Bowman of SVE to make sure that they're in compliance with the bid proposals that we sent out, and then to come back to us with a recommendation. Obviously, we'll be accepting the lowest bid as long as it complies with what you need, and that would be Renault.
Okay, that has, I just want to be clear on your motion is that the part of the motion is that if it meets all standards per Peter Bowman's review of it, then we would be going with Renault. Is that part of the
Renault
motion?
is the lowest.
I know as
yes.
the lowest bidder.
So as long as, once his review is done, and as long as that bid complies with the RFP and his design work, then
I just want
we
to make
would
sure that is strictly
go
part
with
of
the
the
lowest
motion.
bidder.
Okay, is that, do we have a second? It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously.
We're gonna really review these, right? And we've had some issues here with our bridge about not having permits that we were supposed to have and all that stuff. So, and then add-ons to the other contracts. And you're gonna review these the way they're supposed to be reviewed, and if you have a problem later, you're gonna stand behind it. Or
Yeah, I'm not sure what, as far as the permits go.
or an engineer permit that we didn't get until we were
Right.
calling.
They won't issue the, for example, A&R won't issue the permit now until they know who the contractor is. So, and in fact, then the Corps acts on A&R's thing. So that's why you don't have them exactly before the bids are open and awarded, essentially.
Right, I don't want to get into this same thing
Right.
that they do $100 for a contractor was told that terms were in place and in fact they weren't.
Yeah, the A&R permit was, the Corps permit was still, it was not at the time, right? Yeah.
Now, in these, sort of along the lines of what Todd is talking about, the bids, I'm not sure how you work this, Chris, in terms of the design of the bid. How does it work in terms of the supervision of the actual building?
If
that
I'm
separate
correct in
or
my
part?
assumption on this, we have set it so that you're gonna do oversight within the contract that you have already bid and we've accepted. Is that correct?
I think that's correct in this.
I think on Lynch it is. That's where the
That's
confusion
what I'm
came to
talking
Hunter
about.
because it was a split contract.
So that was part of the design contract, not this contract, but part of the
This
design.
was a full contract.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
And I
please
think
tell me
that
I
was
got that
part
right.
of
Has this been approved by FEMA, do you know? Because they're the ones that paid the bill.
Wow.
Well,
Actually, that while we're doing this, that is in its process right now. It is being reviewed and looked at.
Yes, I mean,
Yeah.
before we can actually literally
It's
accept a contract, and if there's one thing in terms of if we accept the bid as being the lowest bidder,
Yes.
but we is pending FEMA approval of building the bridge.
So, in that regard, this bid will need to go to FEMA immediately or simultaneously. The lineup of those bids will go up there to make sure
Okay.
that they're in approval of this at
Right.
the same time.
Okay, because as of now, they've only obligated the funds for the design, they never obligated the funds.
And
Why not?
I will, just because it's all in this ball, you're right, and a scope change request
Right.
has been made by our town now to move the project forward into full construction. So it's all in
So
the
it's
table.
all in process, and but
Yes.
but as much as we have a motion, we're actually not going to literally physically accept the bid until and sign the contract until we have approval.
okay, did we get pro forma approval on Hunter Bridge yet?
As much as you were standing there with Mary Andes and all the rest of us, yeah, you know, the issue was lengths and widths, okay? Let me see if I got this right. With Mary was working on with the V-Trans code, think she can get it in, we're probably not going to prevail on that extra link. We've known that from way back at the beginning. It's what all the towns have run through. And certainly that's up for issue with this one too.
I would like to see the town get an update thing on the bridge. On FEMA, I mean, it's in progress. Are we going to get paid for it or not? We need to get something from FEMA in writing saying, yes, you are, or no, you're not.
Well,
It's a lot of money.
I mean, I don't know that I can get anything more than where we're at right now, because the way this project is working is they're not going to front us. It's, you know, they're coming in with the funds as it goes.
Right, as long as we know that they're going to approve it. We still have that in Mary saying yes or no.
It would be, if we could at least
yes,
get
we
an
have.
email.
On Hunter, yes. And Mary left it just as I just stated. You know, the one drawback is going to be that link. She said she'd go in to fight for that, but when we close that binder out, we may not prevail on that.
Do we have any estimate of what that difference would be?
Shouldn't be that much.
We did calculate that, or I calculated that at one time.
Yeah, the only difference would be, essentially, would be the length of the bridge itself. Again.
Yeah, but what we're asking is how much longer is it?
This one, you're talking about
That
Lynchburg.
was 10, right?
Start with Hunter. How much longer than the bridge?
That was only 3 feet longer. It was nothing. Really.
Well, let's just stop 3 feet short. It doesn't seem that long. They get up ahead of steam and they get across it.
Right.
If FEMA won't pay the last 3 feet. And the same with Lynch. If they won't pay it, you know, we'll just stop with it.
Yeah, Lynch we went from 95 to 110.
So that's a 15 foot, that's a big chunk of cash. And so what you're saying, Chris, as I understand it, is we don't really know until closeout. Is that what
In terms of that 3-foot differential on Hunter Brook, that's where we were left, and we had to proceed. I mean, we had no choice.
Right.
So otherwise, we were going to be up
I'm not
for losing
faulting.
funding. Okay. This one is different. That's why it simultaneously has to go up there. I'm going to just tell you straight out, I think we're going to get hammered on the length on this.
But we can we'll do it. We have been told by the state that they're going to be fighting on our side or not.
Yeah, no, we've been told that, but I don't, in my opinion, I'm just going to say straight out, I don't think you're going to prevail on it.
Well, Mary said that when I was talking to her, she felt pretty good about it. That FEMA's finally realizing that it's cheaper to extend these bridges out than it is to try digging the river and place all this big riprap and get the river back. That it's actually cheaper to just go ahead with the bridge and do it. So.
All right, I'm just, you know, what I would say is that differential of 10 feet, we won't make them stop, okay?
I'm in favor of that.
And it is really the same thing with Hunter Brook. When we go to close that out, they may say no, we go in for an appeal, we can hit it again.
All right. We'll fight that battle when we get
Westminster
there.
and Jamaica did, you know?
All right, we'll fight that battle if we have to, but preferably we don't. All right, so that's the status. Okay, now does that cover, since we're now really jumping, which I did it, jumped into all this, does that cover what you have to report, or do you have more to report on Hunter Brook or Lynch?
The public should know that Cold River Bridges is in the construction of Hunter Brook as we speak. I don't know if any forms have been done on that, but it's underway.
The footing of one of the abutments is complete. They probably will pour really shortly the stem of that abutment, so that would be basically meaning the abutment itself would be complete.
So we do fully expect to complete in this building site place.
Oh, yes.
That should not be a problem pending.
And is there any hope? Is our hope that we'll get Lynch Bridge done before winter?
Yes.
It is. Because I want to drive over that bridge.
I want to drive over and back and over and back and over and back.
So I'm gonna use that bridge every day. I'm going over that damn bridge. Excuse me.
Wear an announcement to replace it.
That's right. I'm not if I use it, me.
Yeah,
It's very. Okay, thank you very much.
Did we have any resolution so that abutment for a Hunter Road Bridge that ended up taking some of Maureen's property, it didn't, therefore it didn't hit the septic or anything, so that's going forward?
That's the abutment they're working on. My understanding is that this is there was a corner of the abutment that affected some of her, it's called landscaping out there. And basically the guys carefully excavated the area they had to excavate, put it over to the side, and then they try to put it back the way it was, best they can. My understanding is they've been working with her.
Yeah, and she's,
Thank you. Okay, moving on, I'm in old business now. One of the things that came up in our, hold on one second, Peter. Shouldn't you have a copy before you take all the originals?
Yes.
Yes. So Pat, if you, okay. Sorry, Peter.
Are you saying you'd like her to copy those right now?
I don't know if I want her to step out of the meeting.
we'll make connection tomorrow.
That would be better. That would be better. Yeah, we should definitely not just have them go.
We did not, but you know what, there's not a lot to this. I'll get these to you tomorrow. Okay.
You don't worry about copying the things that are what we send out. It's just the bid portion is really.
Doesn't need a copy of all of the bids, or just one?
No, he needs all because we have to have the copy. I mean, what if,
We need to
Peter,
prove that we properly did
that we properly
in our
did
files.
it. We should have them.
But I mean, as far as him going through all the bids, he's gonna go through Mike's signature, all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually.
I see. Are you thinking that if she copied that, then he could take that now?
I'm just saying, you have that, and it's only on the ability to have leftovers, but it's one that you.
But are you around tomorrow, Peter? Is it?
Oh, yeah.
It's not a big deal.
And then what we do also, here, a bid count, of all the bids.
Yeah, so it's better that you have it. Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Peter.
We'll get them to you.
Okay, the next order of business is the personnel policies and code of ethics. It's just the personnel policy, actually, is all I was dealing with, and the conflict of interest. And what you should have in your packet, I believe, are we able to make copies of these? Oh. Would you just make? Well, I'll read, but I can read it. It's short enough. Basically, one of the things we had discussed in going over with the management report of the auditors was that we should have our town officials acknowledge the personnel policies. And so what I did was simply write up a proposed motion, which I would appreciate if someone could make once which is simply that we say that all employees and elected officials, current or newly hired, are required to sign the personnel policy document affirming that they have read, affirming that they've read and understand Newfane's personnel policy. They shall also be required to affirm that they've read and understand Newfane's conflict of interest policy. Both documents are required to be signed immediately upon beginning employment or elected office. And then what I've added just in the document I distributed to the board, that it's just simply essentially a signature page that says, I've read and understand the personnel policy of the town of Newfane, and on the conflict of interest it then adds, I've read and understand, it should say conflict of interest policy. Of the town of Newfane. I recognize that my position or status as blank may give rise to conflicts of interest under certain circumstances and will duly recuse myself should such a conflict arise. So this is just to answer one of the deficiencies that the auditors had brought forth. And so that's what the purpose of this, of the motion requesting is.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve this form with the corrections that we've stated. Correct, the correct
Yeah, I mean,
language.
yeah.
And get that ready for a compliance.
Right. Okay. Moved and second. Is there any discussion?
Just have, from the perspective of a person who has people take oaths, because when we have down that they have to do it immediately upon beginning employment or elected office, which means that the morning after the town meeting, when I give oaths to Maureen, would it then be something that has to go in her hands right then? So it's just that wording there that's confusing. It's the same thing. You might not, as a select board member.
I understand. We don't meet necessarily. It's usually our first meeting. I don't know what would be a better word than immediately within the first week.
Just remove the word immediately and let it go signed upon beginning.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's fine with me. I accept that. That's fine. Change that. Okay. Upon beginning. Just take out the word immediately. That's all. Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, we handled one little deficiency. Pat, I'm just passing this to you. And if you would bring those forward to the board, we've signed the conflict of interest, and but we should sign this one because it's slight. The wording is a little different. Okay.
So redo this and have it ready for the next meeting?
Yes, if you would. Yes. Yes, please. Yes, Doris.
Are you going to be doing the code ethics?
No, I'm not. That's a bigger project. That wasn't. What we're gonna be doing is going back through this was a piece of low-hanging fruit, if you will, from the recommendations of the auditors. We're gonna go back through and take on each of their recommendations and determine our priorities. We probably should, Pat, if you would put on, I'll select, just put on the auditor's recommendations, and we'll take them one at a time and go through see what we can do.
Are you planning at some time for the code of ethics?
Whatever, I'm only following what the
Okay.
auditors have,
Right now.
have required, yeah. And I don't recall whether that was one of them.
Seems so.
It probably was, but I don't have it in my
We'll
head.
get there, yeah.
Okay, the next, we have now talked about Hunter Bridge and Lynch Bridge HMGP.
Okay. So at this moment, the current status of one property is it's about ready to close. So right now we're waiting for approval on that and a coordination on the closing date and variance on documents in case there are any changes that need to be done. I suspect that the other two are probably within a week behind. I'm thinking now. So we may have 3 of these into play between August 15th and August 30th at the latest and closed out.
Now, as soon as that's done, do we have to do the demolition? Is that the
We
next
have
thing?
60 days to do demolition.
So don't we have to, and we have to put that up for bid, correct? So you'll be bringing that to the board for bid, setting up the bids. Great. Okay. Again, much thanks to Chris for the outstanding job that she's been doing in kind of getting all these ducks in a row so that we can do things properly and get reimbursed properly.
Amen.
Yeah, thank you. The next is the grubbings. Corey, do you have any update on how we're doing? We've gotten Yes, if you
The
tell
last meeting, Todd recommended that I talk to Mark Pickering again to see about the in-kind work. And Mark informed me when I talked to him that this is not FEMA, but it's a federal highway. And as a consequence, there is no in-kind. So that 10% that we would be responsible for, the 4,600, will need to come out of the town coffers. And so I mentioned to him that we did have the capital $125,000 that we put for flood in the capital funds, and he basically said that would be a perfect use of that. We would pay out of that 125 and then give it back to federal highway / state in 90%, because in fact this continues to be, I can't remember the analogy used, but it's something like, you don't build a building and not pay down or something like that. It's completion of the road.
What was the total amount of the project?
That was the low bid. We did get bids,
Yeah.
even though we couldn't immediately move to
So you're
act on it.
proposing that we would take the entire 46,000 out of capital, do the grubbings, and then get paid back for
That's where the
everything but 10%. I have to be honest with you. I think it was the last meeting, maybe 2 meetings ago. Maureen seemed to get a little antsy about funds coming in here and wanting to do a bridge loan between now and taxes. So I'd be inclined to want to know where we sit financially and how much tax revenue is coming in, and when we could make that placement. I have no argument to doing this. I'm in agreement with it. It's a great idea, but I think we need to strategize it a little bit.
Because if we don't put in and give the contract, then we will lose the money at a certain point fairly soon, within that time frame.
How soon?
Mark said probably we could have them in December.
December?
Well, that would give us enough to at least, I mean, I think that part of the, in terms of cash flow, the issue is we do have the tax payments due on August 15th. So I would be willing to, the question, we really have to answer the first question. Are we willing to say that we would devote a certain amount of flood recovery money to this purpose? That's kind of, and I could say we could hold with the notion we would not actually, we would ask the bidder to hold until we, gotten the go-ahead from the treasurer that we have the money, but we have the money.
Yeah,
And all this other things you got, coming up is paving.
Right, we're gonna have to,
can you push that forward too?
Not really, I mean, we push it till maybe in August.
No, I mean, we pay
That's
it
what-
before we get reimbursed.
Yeah, and then we get reimbursed that
159, yeah. So we do have some expenses, but I think we probably, I personally think we should probably okay it with the proviso that we have to hold until probably September 1st as a kind of enough tax money to spend. People
You need to start the project.
need to start the project.
Absolutely. And I also talked to him about the plantings, and I think that the idea actually wasn't planned. I talked to John Spicer about the plantings.
I'm sorry, Claire, could we resolve this piece of it first on whether we, as a board, are approving going ahead with accepting a bid, providing that the work is done in coordination with our tax revenue. In other words, that we are not putting our town in jeopardy money-wise. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Passes unanimously. Now, Gloria. Oh, did you abstain, Rick? Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. Uh, yeah. Strictly speaking, should have slid away from the desk. Oh, good. Yes, you did. You are good. Good for you. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. I forgot. Yeah, well, Mike, you don't mind. Okay, Gloria, go ahead about the second issue.
And then the other thing is that I'd like us to revisit the photocopier.
Oh, no, I thought you were talking
Oh, I'm
about
sorry.
the plant.
Plantings, yeah, that was talking to John Spicer because he's on the village tree committee. And there's a bit of money in our account that he said we could use toward that. But the long and short of it is I think we need to have a project that would go over 3 or 4 years. And talking, to get something that can go in the right of way, that's not going to obstruct and endanger anything. So, that's just sort of sitting there.
So would you
right
continue
now.
looking into that? That would be appreciated. Okay, now I do, Gloria had alerted me that the photocopier is continuing to seriously malfunction, and I saw that with my own eyes. And I think it is worth saying this is really not the town clerk's photocopier, this is the town's. All the people in the office use the same copier here. There are some of these new machines do both print and copy, but nevertheless, it's not the way you want to do significant copy. So, Gloria, go ahead.
Yeah, we had one company in that list that did rental, and they get a copier that's like 3 years old that has very few copies made on it, and then you rent it for $80 a month, and it has X on 4,000 pages a month free, and then you just pay for the extra ones. And so, it seems to me that we would get a good 2 to 3 years, and it would just be a rental. And that makes it a lot cheaper than $160, $80. So
And they still do the maintenance on that
they do the
machine?
maintenance, but we don't pay maintenance.
How much is the new one?
A new one, we could have gotten one for $3,300, but I think it's now going to be up closer to $5,000.
So if we rent this thing for 3 years, we're up to 2400.
How many copies per month? 4,000. But how many copies? We have a contract for about 55,000, and we didn't go over that this year. When we did everything with the flood that first year, we went over a few thousand. So they go down all year.
We should be.
Each year I have to send in. So,
It makes sense to go.
I don't know. I don't see why it makes a huge difference. We don't own it, we're renting it. But if we do own it, and it takes, I don't
That's
know.
why we really have to look at that.
Yeah. Just I'd like to.
The contract on that one is still valid until, what do we say, October?
August.
So we're really at the end of that.
So we had two repairs, sort of time that last, that had to have parts.
Have you gotten an idea from the person that's doing that, what his expected longevity and feeling of the copier is?
You mean from our maintenance person? They seem to me they recommend 5 years too. And depending on the number of copies, you have very few copies. But I'd be willing to continue to look into that and bring back more information.
Okay. And perhaps a recommendation, kind of.
And then we just need rooms certain places when it goes like it did this last week when we had to have fun.
Well, hopefully we could get this resolved at the next meeting. Doris?
I found it extremely inconvenient last week when I needed to make copies of a few things.
Could you speak a
But
little
quite-
louder? It's hard.
Yeah. It was extremely inconvenient last week. I think there was 2 or 3 days where we couldn't even use it. And you also have people coming in that are doing title searching,
Right.
and she can print out some copies, but it's like you'd start to make something and it would stop, and it's so when you're without the copier for 2 or 3 days,
No, I'm sure.
and you need to do something, it's tough.
Right, no, we understand. I think it's just a matter of it not being clear to the board whether renting it or buying it is the better
Well,
alternative.
we had 3 things: renting, leasing.
Right. So if you could kind of map it out in a kind of neat way for us, and we'll resolve this the next meeting.
I won't be here. Probably won't be here next week.
Doris?
I also wanted to let you know that we got our new printer, thank you.
Good.
And I told you it was
Did it make copies?
No, it was $349, and thanks to some coupons that Pat had from Staples, it only cost us $315.
Excellent, excellent. Well, the only question is, if Gloria's not going to be here and the copier keeps breaking down, should we really take some action tonight? I mean,
No, we'll call the service people and have them come put more
Okay.
parts in so she
Okay.
can stack.
Well,
okay.
that's what took so long last time to fix it,
This
was
takes
parts
time.
they ordered because they don't make it every
All right.
How's the AC running over the copier?
Say it again?
It's,
Air conditioning.
yeah.
What about?
How's it working over the copier?
That was part of it.
Oh, really?
Yes, definitely.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh. So maybe
Well,
it's
they,
location.
at first they said that everything on the circuit, and so I didn't have the air conditioning on, I didn't have the dehumidifier on, and it just
Wouldn't work.
wouldn't work.
You gotta put the AC. You gotta
No, but
put
it broke down with the AC on. They thought it was an electrical surge kind of thing, and that didn't. So yeah, I have the unit on.
All right. All right. So we will. The sentiment of the board does seem to be to hold on this till we get further clarification. That concludes the old business and leads us to correspondence. And now I will do the Williamsville Hall thing that if we had invited them, they did get some grant money, $500, and I'll just read their letter. In continued pursuit of grant money to weatherize the Williamsville Hall, they contacted the Preservation Trust. They met with them. She offered half of the cost of the condition report, and the cost of the report was $500, and the Williamsville Hall Committee has offered to pay the $250 from their donation fund account. So that, I think, is just information to us, and that they will have, again, a free movie night. They're saying this Saturday? They're switching from Friday to Saturday, or have they
How
switched?
can they do?
I think it's scheduled on Fridays.
I think it's
No,
Fridays normal.
It is free movie night, and this Saturday at 6,
Oh,
we're
I
having
see.
a barbecue.
I see. I'm
That's a
misreading.
separate-
I'm trying to speed
Yeah.
through it, and I'm all right. So they do have their free movie night on Friday, and this Saturday they'll be having a barbecue at 6 o'clock. In conjunction with this weekend is the Rock River Artist Tour, which obviously I hope people will attend. Okay. See if I have other correspondence. This is from the Preservation Trust. This is this. I thought there was something else you gave me, Pat. Just this is one of these things. I think I distributed it. It's just we are informed by the Public Service Board that in terms of the visibility of Vermont Yankee, and they're really just informing us that they're working on yeah. I mean the pictures is hopeless. Well, actually, these pictures might. Because this, ours was black and mine was too. This is just what Pat gave me here. And here's what it looks like from River Road, Newfane, and Oh, I guess it's the power lines. That's what they're talking. It's not the, I thought it was the power plant. It's actually the power lines, and that's what they are working on, cleaning up the mess they made. That's about all I can say. All right. Next, that concludes our regular business. The one thing we do need to address, and I think that, Pat, have we gotten any response from either the Planning Commission or from the Road Commissioner in terms of employee evaluations? Did you contact them?
I told her.
Well, I just, Pat, remember I asked you to please contact Tristan of the Planning Commission to get a report on Merle. And
I
do
did send
need,
something and I haven't yet.
okay, and
so
I need,
I'll
and also pursue with Christopher, because we do need to move, and Todd, let me know when you're ready to present to the board your employees' evaluations, okay? Because I do want those accomplished this year. I don't think we need an executive session on that at the moment because we don't have anything to consider. I do not have any updates on things that we previously discussed in executive session. Other than, well, maybe a slight one, which doesn't have to be executive. We have filed in the case that our lawyers did meet the deadline and filed their response.
And I had working with Elizabeth McEwen from SEPCA. And I think I left you a phone message, John, where we need the health officer to inspect 35 Oak Road because there was a family that SEPCA and the community.
I actually don't recall this, so it may not, I may just simply have not gotten this.
So how do we get the health officer?
If you would ask Pat to contact Tim, if there is any, and this really pertains to anyone where there's a health problem, they should notify Pat, and Pat can contact our health officer.
So that doesn't happen?
Yes. No.
We did get 2 more complaint calls on.
No, don't, yeah, okay. All right. So we know this is an ongoing problem, and again, the update I can give on that, again, in public, is to say that I have contacted our health officer with regard to the problem that we discussed in executive session.
This is not the same thing, this is
a new one. This is a new one.
And that was brought to your attention rather than Pat's?
Yeah, Elizabeth McEwen, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But you're to send it straight to
But
her.
I want to make sure that the board also has all the information
Right.
in case this thing blows up.
Yeah, so it should always come straight to Pat.
Absolutely.
And if need be, we should meet in executive session to discuss it. That's really true of any health concern.
Right.
Okay. I believe that concludes our business with the exception of pay orders. Is that correct? It's been moving down here. So we now move to pay orders.